China's epidemic situation heats up. 2 vice state-level officials pass away within 4 days. On June 6, Raidi, former vice chairman of the National People's Congress Standing Committee, passed away in Beijing due to illness. Just 4 days earlier, official reports confirmed the passing of Xu Qiliang, former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. Amid a recent surge in China's epidemic situation, the consecutive deaths of 2 vice state-level officials within 4 days have sparked speculation, especially since the government has not disclosed the specific causes of death. CCTV News reported on the evening of June 6 that Raidi, a member of the Communist Party of China and vice chairman of the 10th National People's Congress Standing Committee, passed away in Beijing at 2:15 a.m. Born in Burong County, Nag City, Tibet, Raidi served in the region for many years. He held various posts, including Deputy Secretary of the Tibet Party Committee, Secretary of the Discipline Inspection Commission, Deputy Director of the Revolutionary Committee, and Director of the Standing Committee of the People's Congress. From 2003 to 2008, he served as vice chairman of the National People's Congress and was considered a vice state-level official. According to official reports, just 4 days before Raidi's passing, another vice state-level official, Xu Qiliang, former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, also passed away in Beijing due to illness on June 2 at the age of 75. The sudden passings of 2 high-ranking officials in such a short span have raised concerns, but no specific cause of death has been disclosed by authorities. According to Hong Kong media, veteran journalist Ma Ling posted on WeChat Moments that Xu Qiliang suffered a sudden heart attack while jogging in the hospital early in the morning and passed away despite emergency treatment. Public speculation suggests that the passings of senior officials in Beijing might be linked to a resurgence of the COVID-19 outbreak. COVID-19 infections soar. Past 440,000 in May. Experts warn it's still peaking. At present, multiple viruses are spreading across mainland China, with the new coronavirus, also known as the CCP virus or COVID-19, leading the wave. On June 5, the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, revealed a shocking figure. Over 440,000 new COVID-19 cases were recorded in May, and the outbreak has yet to reach its end. On that day, the CDC released national data showing a total of 440,662 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in May alone, including 606 severe cases and 7 deaths. Among the 12,275 valid genome sequences analyzed nationwide, all were Omicron variants. The dominant strain currently sweeping through China is NB.1.8.1, a 6th-generation sublineage of the XDV variant. According to Xinhua news agency, Liu Qiong, a leading researcher at China's CDC, stated during a press briefing on June 5 that respiratory disease surveillance indicates a steady climb in COVID-19 cases since March. He noted that the country is now experiencing the highest level of COVID-19 spread so far in 2025, though a slight decline is being observed in some provinces. Data also shows stark regional disparities, with southern provinces hit harder than the north. The CDC also reported a spike in test positivity rates. In sentinel hospitals across China, the COVID-19 positivity rate among outpatient flu-like illnesses rose sharply from 7.5% in early April to 16.2% by early May, more than doubling. The positivity rate among hospitalized patients with severe respiratory infections also jumped from 3.3% to 6.3%. COVID-19 has now topped all other causes of flu-like outpatient visits for 3 consecutive weeks. It's worth noting, the epidemic data released by the Chinese Communist Party is widely viewed with skepticism. Given the CCP's long history of covering up epidemic information, the international community is casting serious doubt on the transparency and accuracy of these numbers. In the comment sections related to the report by the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, mainland netizens expressed their frustration and concern. Some netizens said, "We're currently infected with COVID in Guangdong." Others lamented, "This time it's lasting too long. It's been almost a month and I still haven't recovered. Coughing and phlegm won't stop." Another complained, "This new COVID variant doesn't cause a fever, but I've had a sore throat, runny nose, coughing, and phlegm. Every time I cough, I get a severe headache." Some expressed helplessness. When will this COVID virus finally end? And there are too many deaths now. A Douyin blogger named Ru Yi also posted recently that his mother suddenly passed away while drinking soy milk porridge in the morning. Her head tilted and she just passed away. Is death really that sudden? Since getting COVID, several people around me have suddenly passed away. Another blogger claimed, "COVID can easily cause myocardial infarction and myocarditis. The rate of sudden death has increased by 2 to 4 times over the past 3 years." The Douyin account, traditional Chinese medicine director Liang, also stated in a video that after the May Day holiday, the COVID virus made a comeback. Basically, when one person gets sick, the whole family catches it. Many people say their throats feel like they're burning and they can't even speak. Recently, numerous posts on mainland social media reported that schools in Guangdong, Shanxi, Jiangsu, and other regions have had to suspend classes or place students under home quarantine due to COVID outbreaks. As the Chinese Communist Party continues to censor online content, the information that manages to circulate may only be the tip of the iceberg. Currently, COVID-19 is not the only epidemic surging in the mainland. Influenza, dengue fever, and other viruses are also spreading. On June 6, the China CDC released the China Influenza Surveillance Weekly Report Number 859, Week 22, 2025. The monitoring data from May 26 to June 1 showed that 4 influenza-like illness outbreaks, each with over 10 cases, were reported nationwide. Testing confirmed 2 were AH3N2, 1 was a mixed infection, and 1 case was still pending lab results. At a press conference on June 5, the China CDC also warned of localized risks of dengue fever outbreaks in regions such as Guangdong and Yunnan, urging enhanced prevention. On June 3, the Guangdong CDC reported 7 new dengue fever cases from May 19 to 25, including 3 local cases, all in Foshan, and 4 imported ones, 2 in Guangzhou and 1 each in Zhongshan and Dongguan. After Xi Jinping and Trump talk, RMB falls to 2-year low. After a phone call between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping, the market reaction was far from optimistic. The renminbi depreciated to its lowest level in nearly 2 years. Experts noted that the call should have boosted market sentiment, but the continued depreciation of the RMB suggests that China's economy remains stuck in a quagmire. On June 5, following a roughly 90-minute conversation between Trump and Xi, the RMB exchange rate continued to decline, particularly against currencies of major trading partners, hitting a near 2-year low. As of 4:30 p.m. on June 6, the onshore RMB closed at 7.1847 yuan per US dollar, down 0.08% from the previous night. The offshore RMB traded at 7.1852. According to Reuters, the CFETS RMB index, which tracks the RMB against a basket of major currencies, fell to 95.58, a cumulative drop of 5.8% since the start of the year, marking a new low in nearly 2 years. Gary Ng, senior economist at Natixis, told Reuters that while high-level dialogue has increased the likelihood of a U.S.-China agreement, investors remain skeptical, suspecting that both sides are merely stalling instead of addressing key issues. On June 5, President Trump posted on Truth Social that the talks mainly focused on trade and did not address the Russia-Ukraine war or Iran. He also mentioned rare earths in both posts, saying there should no longer be any questions about the complexity of rare earth products. Ng noted that the call failed to bring about any meaningful progress on removing tariffs and only touched on topics like access to critical raw materials and technology export controls. As a result, it remains unclear what kind of agreement may eventually be reached. Given the wide scope of issues between China and the U.S., even if a deal emerges from the talks, it is likely to be limited in scope. Reuters reported that although Chinese authorities have repeatedly claimed they are not actively pursuing RMB devaluation, the currency's passive decline has become increasingly noteworthy amid tense U.S.-China relations, deflationary pressures, and weak domestic demand in China. Some analysts believe the CCP has long used stalling tactics in U.S.-China trade negotiations, aiming to delay progress until after the U.S. presidential election. American economist David Huang told the Epoch Times on June 5, "For years, the CCP's strategy has been to nod in agreement first, then create obstacles, and eventually delay negotiations. Beijing knows Trump's term is only 4 years, so they drag things out using time as a tool," he added.
Welcome to China Truths. In this episode, we will bring you the following story. Many banks in China set limits on fund transfers. Now, let's dive into the details. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Many banks in China set limits on fund transfers. In recent years, China's economy has been on a downward trend, and the banking industry has been severely impacted by the real estate crisis. Recently, many bank branches in China have faced issues with withdrawals, causing dissatisfaction among account holders. Many users believe that the reduction in bank card transfer limits is a deliberate attempt by banks to restrict funds from flowing out. According to a report by Beak Finance from the Beijing News, several bank card users have reported that their cards were limited without their knowledge. Many of these users tried to raise their transfer limits by visiting bank branches, but some simply gave up using the card altogether. Since the second half of this year, many banks have announced adjustments to the transfer limits for non-counter transactions on personal current accounts. These users mention banks like Bank of China, China Construction Bank, Agricultural Bank of China, and Jiangxi Bank among the institutions having done so. Regarding the reduction in bank card transfer limits, many users believe this is an intentional attempt by the banks to prevent funds from leaving their system. However, bank personnel have explained that this measure is mainly aimed at preventing telegraphic transfer fraud. Nevertheless, bank card users have expressed frustration, saying they were unaware of the limit changes. The bank did not send an SMS notification, has been a common complaint. One user, Liyun, a pseudonym used for her security and safety, said she was shocked when her bank account for receiving salaries suddenly had a transfer limit imposed. In July of this year, she planned to withdraw a reimbursement amount, of about several thousand yuan, from Bank of China, but she was unable to either transfer the money or withdraw it from an ATM, as it exceeded the daily transfer limit. What surprised Liyun even more was that another account she used to pay her mortgage, a Jiangxi Bank Class 1 card, was also limited in July and August. She had used both cards for many years for small purchases, and neither card had ever had withdrawal or transfer limits set. Both banks unilaterally adjusted the mobile transfer limits on her cards to a daily cap of 2,000 yuan or $276, without notifying her. Liyun explained, Bank of China staff originally told me I could go to any branch with my ID card to adjust the limit, but when I arrived at a nearby branch, I was told I needed to go to the branch where the account was opened. She faced further complications as the account opening branch was closed that day, and it took a month for her to successfully raise the limit. According to a report by Shanghai Broadcasting Television Station on November 14, some bank card users have said their transfer limits were reduced without their knowledge, with some even unable to transfer as little as 1,000 yuan or about $138. These customers believe that the banks are limiting non-counter transactions to prevent money from flowing out. In January of this year, Jiupai News reported that a woman in Pingdingshan, Hunan Province, had difficulty withdrawing money from a bank when her sister tried to transfer 5,000 yuan to her as a New Year gift. The staff initially suggested downloading an anti-fraud app, which seemed responsible, but later began asking inappropriate questions about her sister's workplace, previous jobs, and even demanded proof that they were sisters. Eventually, only after about 2 hours and police intervention, she was able to withdraw the money. In a similar incident, according to Poster News, a woman in Jiangxi province posted on a social platform, saying that when she went to the bank to deposit 100,000 yuan into a time deposit, the staff asked where the money had come from. She was surprised, saying, "Why does it matter where the money came from? Just process it as I said." She felt as though they were treating her as if the money had been stolen. The staff explained that it was the bank's policy. In response to these issues, some netizens commented, "The banking system really needs to be properly reformed. The service attitude is extremely inconsistent. When you deposit money, you're treated like a VIP, but when you withdraw, you're treated like a beggar." The leakage of personal information can't be said to have nothing to do with them, because the information we leave with the bank is quite accurate, and the moral standards of employees should really be better assessed.